Good morning, YouTubians. It's Kermit's Ghost. You can call me Alan. It's like being in a Criterion cupboard here. It's Monday, the 9th of December 2024, just 16 days before Santa journeys across the planet to each and every believer who's made it to his good list, of course. Hopefully, you are amongst one of the lucky ones. There's a lot of movies coming out this week. For example, we have Hellboy that comes out today, as well as The Critic, which stars Sir Ian McKellen and Mark Strong. Dawn of the Mummy comes out as well from Treasured Films. Looking forward to that one. And the second sight release of Creep. Oh, plus there's also that copy of Carline that was meant to come out last week, but it was pushed back to this week, but we shall see. I'm about to head up to Costa for my morning latte. Not a sponsor. Once I've drank that latte, I will head over to HMV, which is inside Churchill Square Shopping Centre in Brighton, on the lower ground floor, should you be looking for it. And I'll film all the latest releases. Now, I might take a gander in CEX as well before heading home to show you what I've picked up. So let's chit chat, let's go. So now I'm in Costa Coffee. I'm going to buy a bit of breakfast this morning. I'm feeling peckish, so I went for a sausage bap or bowl if you prefer, plus a large latte extra hot and caffeinated. I tried decaf for around 3 days, had a headache throughout, so I switched back and the headache was gone within minutes. So I'll stick to my regular drink from now on. So into HMV I go. In no particular order, I'm going to start with Hellboy the Crooked Man, another outing of the Dark Horse comic superhero, but this time around played by Jack Kesey. It's directed by Brian Taylor, who made the 2 Jason Statham Crank movies and Mum and Dad, and this is set in the 1950s. It's about an ex-soldier called Tom who makes a deal with the Crooked Man, who's played by Martin Basindale. This one is priced at £14.99. I couldn't find the 4K today. Creep next. This is a collector's limited edition from Second Sight. Now this dark humoured found footage horror is from 2014 and was written, produced, directed and stars Patrick Bryce as Aaron. He's a videographer who is hired by a man called Joseph to make a video for his soon to be born son. Easy money. Of course it isn't, not with a title like that. Joseph is played by Mark Duplass, by the way, and this includes 6 collector's art cards as well as a 70-page booklet and a rigid case to house it all in. The limited edition is priced at £29.99, whereas the standard release, which is not limited, is priced at £17.99, and they both carry a 15 certificate. Next is Speak No Evil from Universal Studios. This is a psychological thriller and a remake of a Danish film of the same name. Stars James McAvoy and Mackenzie Davis. £14.99 for this movie today. Next is Funny Girl on the Criterion label, available on both Blu-ray and 4K. This is a 1968 biographical musical that's based on the life of comedian Fanny Bryce, with Barbara Streisand playing that character. Also stars Omar Sharif, Kay Medford, Anne Francis, Walter Pidgeon and Mae Questrell, who was the voice of both Betty Boop and Olive Oyl. £22.99 for the Blu-ray and £29.99 for the 4K. The Critic next. This is a thriller set in London during the 1930s with Ian McKellen playing a film critic for the Daily Chronicle newspaper. This is a story of revenge, blackmail and suicide, so there's a few tough subjects in this one. Also stars Gemma Arterton, Mark Strong and Ben Barnes. £14.99 for this title today. So next we have H.P. Lovecraft's From Beyond. This is from 88 Films and it's based on the short story of the same name from 1920. It's a sci-fi body horror from 1986. It's directed by Stuart Gordon and there are both a Blu-ray and 4K release for this today, and they both are limited editions and they contain a double-sided poster as well as collectible art cards, and both of these are remastered using the original negatives. The Blu-ray is priced at £22.99 and the 4K is priced at £29.99 and they carry an 18 certificate. Transformers 1 next from Paramount Pictures. This is available on both Blu-ray and 4K and it's an animated sci-fi fantasy adventure from this year. It's directed by Josh Cooley, who also directed Toy Story 4. Voice cast in this includes Chris Hemsworth, Brian Tyree Henry, Scarlett Johansson, Steve Buscemi, John Hamm and Lawrence Fishburne. The Blu-ray is priced at £14.99 and the 4K is priced at £24.99 and they carry a PG certificate. Next is the Blu-ray and 4K release of The Slumber Party Massacre from 101 Films. This is a 1982 slasher horror directed by Amy Jones, who also directed Indecent Proposal and Mystic Pizza. It's about an 18-year-old girl who decides to have a slumber party with her friends. At the same time, an escaped murderer whose weapon of choice is a power drill is looking for some new victims. The Blu-ray is priced at £14.99, whereas the 4K is priced at £24.99, and they carry an 18 certificate. Next we have the Blu-ray release for Slumber Party Massacre 2. This 1987 black comedy slasher is produced, written and directed by Deborah Brock, and it sees the character of Courtney Bates return, but played by a different actress. Plus we have another killer who favours the drill. This is priced at £14.99 and carries a 15 certificate. Meet Cleaver Massacre next, again from 101 Films. It's another horror slasher, this time from 1977. It's a revenge film about a professor whose wife and children are stabbed to death by students, and the professor summons up a spirit of Morak, whilst unconscious, to torment students and pick them off one by one. It's narrated by Christopher Lee and is priced at £14.99. The Lawnmower Man next. This is a sci-fi horror from 1992 that's based on a short story of the same name by Stephen King. The effects are a bit dated, but it's a fun story starring Jeff Fahey as an intellectually challenged man who is transformed into a genius by Pierce Brosnan's character, Dr. Lawrence Angelo. £14.99 for this release. And here is the sequel, The Lawnmower Man 2 Beyond Cyberspace. And this time around, the character of Job, who's played by Matt Frewer, Job, whose character was intertwined with the internet in the first film, is resurrected by a man called Jonathan, so Job can create a special computer chip for him. This was a flop at the box office, but you can own it for just £14.99. Incendies next from 101 Films. This was previously released by Trinity Home Entertainment, and it is a drama from 2010 about two siblings who are sent by their recently deceased mother to trace their family roots and a brother they were unaware of in the Middle East. This is priced at £14.99 and it carries a 15 certificate. Glengarry Glen Ross next, also released by 101 Films, and this is a drama from 1992 directed by James Foley. It's got a great cast consisting of Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, Alan Arkin, Kevin Spacey, Ed Harris, Alec Baldwin and Jonathan Pryce. This has also got music by James Newton Howard and is priced at £14.99. Next we have The Following, another 101 Films release. This is Christopher Nolan's directorial debut. It's a 1988 neo-noir crime thriller about a writer who starts following people for inspiration and gets caught up in a friendship with a burglar and a blonde woman who's being blackmailed. £14.99 for this release. The Sword and the Sorcerer next on both Blu-ray and 4K. This is a 1982 fantasy film directed by Albert Pyon, his first film. It's about a mercenary called Talon who has a three-bladed sword and learns of a princess being held captive by a warlock. So he steps up to the challenge of releasing her. The Blu-ray is priced at £14.99, comes with a vast amount of extras, and the 4K, also laden with extras, is priced at £24.99. Rock and Roll High School next. Once again, a 101 Films release, a fair few titles for them today. This is a 1979 teen musical comedy directed by Alan Arkush, and this is a Battle of Wheels film. The principal of a school named Vince Lombardi pits her wits against a female student called Riff Rendell, who is a huge fan of the Ramones, and both take their parts in the battle to the nth degree. £14.99 for this release today. Fellini Satyricon next. This is an Italian drama directed by Federico Fellini, and it's about two pansexual men played by Martin Potter and Hiram Keller as they embark on a separate journey to win the heart of a young boy slave called Gattone, eventually reuniting. This one is priced at £12.99 and it carries an 18 certificate. Requiem for a Vampire next, a French erotic horror from 1972. This is a limited edition from Indicator Films. It's one movie, but it's got two different cuts, and this is about two virgin women, Marie and Michelle, who are dressed as clowns, travelling through the countryside when they discover a chateau and a vampire sect who offer them eternal life. £19.99 for this release today. Cecilia next, a French erotic film from 1983. This is also known as Diary of a Desperate Housewife. When a married aristocrat woman is raped, she confesses to her husband that she actually enjoyed it and embarks on a sexual awakening journey. This one is priced at £14.99 and it carries an 18 certificate. The Escapees next from Indicator Films. This is a 1981 French drama and it's a limited edition. This is by the same director as Requiem for a Vampire and also features two women called Marie and Michelle. But this time around they're played by different actresses and they are not immortal. They both escape from a mental health facility and they go from one bad situation to another. This one is priced at £19.99. The Stone Tape next. This is a Black Label release, number 41. It's a television-made supernatural sci-fi drama from 1972, part of the BBC's Christmas Ghost Stories, and works on the theory that old building materials can record like a tape, and haunting to just capture the images and sound, recording the traumatic events. This limited edition includes art cards and a script book, and is priced at £24.99. Next is Apartment Wife, Affair in the Afternoon. This is a Japanese erotic drama from 1971 that's put out by 88 Films. It's about a woman who's having an affair, which is discovered by a brothel owner, who then bribes her into working in the brothel. £16.99 for this movie. Coraline next. This is a re-release, probably because it has recently had a resurgence in population due to its cinema outing. It's a stop-motion animation about a girl who discovers a doorway in her bedroom to another dimension, which seems perfect at first. This is an excellent film and it's priced at £14.99. Bleach Part 2, episodes 28 to 55. Next, this is an anime comic book fantasy. It's about a character called Ichigo Kurosaki who has obtained the powers of the Soul Reaper and is now being pursued as they want it back. This has a runtime of 656 minutes and is priced at £44.99 and it carries a 15 certificate. Tonikawa next, another anime TV show. This is season 1. It was pushed back from the 11th of November, also known as Over the Moon for You. It's about a young man who almost dies when he sees a beautiful girl crossing a busy road. In hospital, he proposes and she accepts, but the next day she disappears, leading him on a quest to find her. £32.99 for this show. Dawn of the Mummy next. This is a limited edition release from Treasured Films. It's a horror movie from 1981 directed by Frank Agrama. This is about a 4,000-year-old pharaoh that comes back to seek revenge for his violent death. £24.99 for this movie. It comes with a perfect bound book, art cards, plus an audio commentary from the director and Kin Newman. Tokyo Vice Season 2 next. This is a crime drama which unfortunately now is cancelled, although it did not end on a cliffhanger. In fact, according to the internet, it ends on a very satisfying conclusion. It's got 10 episodes in this and it stars Ansel Elgort and Ken Watanabe. £24.99 for this season. And here we have Tokyo Vice Seasons 1 and 2 in a box set. And like I mentioned, this show's now been cancelled, so this is a complete box set with 18 episodes overall. This one is priced at £44.99. It carries an 18 certificate. Monster next, a biographical crime drama from 2003 starring Charlize Theron, Christina Ricci and Bruce Dern. It's about a prostitute from Florida who was executed for murdering 6 people after spending 10 years on death row. £17.99 for this movie today, and it carries an 18 certificate. My favourite cake now, a tragic comedy romantic drama from this year. It's about Maheen, a 70-year-old widower who now lives alone as her children have grown up and moved on, now finds a new passion in her life in the guise of a man called Faramaz. £14.99 for this movie. And the last item in HMV to show you today is the Rolling Stones' Welcome to Shepherd's Bush on 4K. It's from 1999, so it took 25 years to come out. This was filmed at Shepherd's Bush Empire in London, and there you can see on the back is the track listing. This is priced at £27.99. Some good tunes on this one. So as promised, I'm going to take a quick look inside CEX. So here's It's a Wonderful Life on 4K. This is a beautiful Christmas drama from 1946. They want £18. It's £20 new on Amazon and the same in HMV. The Sugarland Express next for £32. Seems steep. That's because it's only £20 in HMV at the moment. Here we have Children of the Corn, the trilogy for £25. You can actually get this on Amazon brand new for £20 or it's £45 in HMV. Tut tut. And here we have Cold War Creatures, 4 films from Sam Katzman. This is a great box set from Arrow if you like your B movies, which I absolutely adore. This is the same price new on Amazon right now. Clint Eastwood's Director's Collection, £8, which is an absolute bargain. The closest price of this is at least double. So this is 5 movies for £8. That's £1.60 per movie. You can't argue with that. And here we have a similar deal with the Christopher Nolan Film Collection. It's £12 for 6 movies. Do I need to say? £2 per film, between £36 and £40 normally for this set, so worth picking up. It's still in here and it's still just £1 cheaper than HMV. Bel Air Season 1 for £2.50, £25 new in HMV, same with Amazon, so a lot cheaper here. Buck Rogers in the 25th Century for £45, that's not too bad. Nosferatu from Eureka for £12, it's £2 more on Amazon's website, same as HMV, but there's an £8 standard release available on both. Pacific, the metal tin pack for £8, not available on HMV's website, and it's £30 on Amazon, so that's a good deal, and it's in pretty good condition, just a tiny dent on the back in the top left corner. The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon Season 1 for £18, it's £2 dearer on Amazon and £4 dearer in HMV. Season 2 comes out next week. The Miracle Fighters for £25, this is £20 on Amazon's website, same as HMV's website. And I'll finish up in CEX with these two large collectible DVD sets of Star Trek Voyager Seasons 4 and 5. This is an impressive, all but huge case, but I imagine if you have them all, they'll look very impressive. Look, you can see right through it. I'm assuming that you can't see through them when you have all the discs inside. Hey everybody, welcome back. So there's 3 titles to show you this week. 2 that came out last week, plus there's a mini-series from 2019, which I've had my eye on for quite some time now. It's a story I really enjoy. The book, which I won't reveal the title of just yet, is outstanding. Now, there's been a few adaptations of it, and they've not always stuck to the events or the time or the location of the original story from 1897, 2 years before my grandmother was born. Can you guess what it is? It's not A Christmas Carol. That was written in 1843. Anyway, I am digressing. Let's crack on with it. Okay, I'm going to start off with Godzilla Minus One. This is a kaiju end-of-war drama action flick that's all rolled into one. Written and directed by Takashi Yamazaki. A little bit different to these recent Hollywood Godzilla movies that we've become accustomed to. For one, you actually care about all the characters in this film. 2, starts out in 1945, so it's the end of World War II, as opposed to these modern day Godzilla outings of late. And 3, Godzilla is not all about saving mankind. In fact, he, she, or it is the threat, and that's where the title comes from. The story, it's a conditional state of things in Japan, 0 being rock bottom on the human scale, and then adding Godzilla into the equation, making things dip below into -1. It follows a kamikaze pilot, Shikishima, being played by Ryunosuke Kamiki, and he is trying to make up for the bad decisions that he made during a Godzilla attack at a garrison, resulting in massive loss of life. And to be fair to him, he couldn't have done anything about it anyway. Now, what I find extraordinary about this is the budget. This was made on $15 million budget, and the effects are second to none in this, by the way. Godzilla x Kong had 10 times that budget. And this, by the way, is the 38th film to feature Godzilla, 33 of which are Japanese and 5 American. And in my humble opinion, this is better than any of those American-made Godzilla films to date. It's got a runtime of 2 hours, 5 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So one of the images from the back cover has been magnified and put onto the disc. And on the reverse of the cover, you have that image in its entirety. So that was Godzilla Minus One. Okay, next one to show you is War of the Worlds. This is a 3-part TV drama from 2019, directed by Craig Verreros, and it's based on the novel of the same name by H.G. Wells, although it's adapted to the screen by Peter Harness. Now, this is set in 1905, which is the Edwardian era. The book itself is set a little bit before in 1890, which was the Victorian era. So although not exactly the same, it is actually the closest adaptation so far to the novel with regards to the time period. It's also set in Woking, which is absolutely spot on. So all going well so far. In fact, they make use of the choking black smoke as well, which is the first and only one to do so out of all the adaptations. And of course, they use Thunderchild, the battleship, to take down a few of those tripods on the beach as well. All that being said and done, this is not the best telling of War of the Worlds, but it was a whole lot better than the other television adaptation which came out in 2019. The one that starred Gabriel Byrne and Daisy Edgar Jones. They ditched those tripods and they used metal dogs instead, which was so far removed from the story, it was absolutely ridiculous. This stars Rafe Spall as George, whose character is actually based on H.G. Wells himself. George's character's, he's left his wife, is now shacked up with his cousin and new partner Amy, as did H.G. Wells. Amy is being played by Eleanor Tomlinson. And the pair, they spend the whole show trying to survive the Martian invasion. So we all know the story. Ogilvy is being played by Robert Carlyle, and Rupert Graves is playing Frederick, who was George's older brother. The artilleryman in this is being played by Harry Melling, who you all know. He played Dudley in the Harry Potter franchise, and you've also got Jonathan Harris as the jaded priest. This one's got a runtime of 165 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So that front cover image has been put onto the single disc. And this is a German import, and thankfully it has a reverse cover with the age logo removed. So that was The War of the Worlds, and this title cost me, I think, just under £5, so bargain. Okay, next and last is Alien Romulus. This is a sci-fi horror from this year, directed by Fede Alvarez. Now, his movies include The Girl in the Spider's Web, which is very good, and Don't Breathe, equally as good. This movie starts out in the year 2142, so it's set between Alien and Aliens, and we start out with a spaceship capturing a rock in space, and it contains what looks like to me a fossilized remains of a xenomorph alien. Then we cut to a planet called LV-410, a mining planet in perpetual darkness, where you've got a character of Rain Carradine, who is an orphan, lives with what she calls her brother. In fact, it's a malfunctioning android called Andy. Andy the android, played by David Johnson. Rain, by the way, has been played by Kaylee Spaney. And Rain, as most of the occupants are desperate to leave the planet. Now, above LV-410, Rain and her friends, you've got Tyler, Kay, Bjorn and Navarro, they discover an abandoned space station which is trapped in the gravitational pull of the planet. So they decide they're going to investigate. Clearly, they have never seen an alien movie. Anyway, so they get underway to this station, which is in two parts. You've got Romulus and Remus. If you know your Roman mythology, you will be familiar with those two names. And then the very young crew, they go about trying to steal some cryo fuel so they can leave LV-410 and head to Yavaga, which is a planet far away from the Weyland Corporation influence. During the salvaging of this fuel, the crew inadvertently release a bunch of facehuggers. Now that is the last thing you want on a space station. I won't say any more, but you've all seen that cover, so you can pretty much guess what's going to happen here. You've probably seen the trailer as well. I will mention that on board Romulus is Rook. Now, that's a synthetic science officer, which has the CGI face of Ian Holm, which is very uncanny valley. There's also Robert Bobrovsky, who is a very tall, skinny xenomorph. Look him up after you've watched the movie. He is scary enough without the prosthetic suit on. It's got a runtime of 1 hour and 59 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So this is in a slim case, and the slipcover and the cover have the same image, although on the slipcover, don't know if you can see, the alien face hugger there is very high glossed against a matte background. And on the disc, alongside the title, you have the tail of the xenomorph. So that was Alien Romulus. So that was it. Have you seen any of those? Do you plan to pick them up or just want to leave a comment? Then do so down below. I will read every single one and try to reply if I have the time. Give the video a thumbs up, really does help the channel, and subscribe if you haven't. It's all free. Why wouldn't you? On that note, all that's left to say is thank you so much for choosing my channel today and watching my video. Take care. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.